worry about it. Don't worry about it. Mansur has done it before, and inshallah, God willing, we will debunk your claims.
Yeah, I very much doubt it somehow.
Look, did you even read the refutations that I have made against the claims about the Quranic manuscripts in Warsh and Hafs? Have you watched the video?
I've watched some of it, yeah.
Which one?
I've watched.
Let me ask you again. Let me ask. Okay. Let me ask you one single question.
Yeah.
Are there any differences between the Hafs Quran manuscripts or Qurans?
Yeah. Sorry, because I'm not saying yes as in yes, as in yeah. Carry on.
Are there differences between the Warsh Qurans?
Yeah.
I debunk those claims that there are differences, and you still come along and say there are differences. So basically, you haven't even watched the refutation, have you?
I don't believe you have debunked them. I don't believe you have debunked them.
Oh, that's your belief, your faith in a spirit.
No, that's your opinion of what it is.
Excuse me.
From what I remember, it didn't sound very convincing to me.
Excuse me.
It didn't sound very convincing.
Excuse me.
So there's my
Any man or woman of integrity who has seen my refutation will agree with me.
You don't know that. You have no idea what people's view of it is. You can't even make that claim.
Wait.
That's impossible.
Excuse me.
You're making an impossible claim there, mate.
If I provide evidence after evidence after evidence and after evidence, and you say, I don't get it, I accept
hundreds
it.
of thousands of people have watched that video. You don't know their views.
Listen.
So you can't make that claim.
Now here is a challenge
You might
again.
have to change that.
Another challenge and a homework.
Rephrase it.
From your team, go and give me arguments against the refutation that I have made on the Warsh and the Hafs Qur'ans. That yes, there are differences. To this day, I'm still waiting for even a single refutation. So why don't you be a man of integrity and say, you know what, Mansur is just claiming. Go and get your Arabic experts. Get this guy called what? The Coward Prince, whatever it's called, CP, whatever.
Christian Prince.
Or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Get him, he's an Arab. Any Christian who speaks Arabic and scholarly and knows this material, go and ask to refute what I have done.
All right, here's an interesting point, and so let me put a challenge out to you, to Muslims.
And now he's going to challenge up to me in Israel. Do this first.
Because you got your angle on the way you want to look at this, okay? And I'm happy to do some research and come back to you some of this stuff, okay?
By the way, before you go on, last time we discussed, there are many things you're going to come back to me. You never came back. This is the problem.
No.
You discussed many things. Oh, yes, pending. Many things. We can go back to the videos. We can go back and remind you. But you didn't come back. About Trinity specifically. About Trinity specifically.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember because I know it's convenient to forget.
No, that's your claim, but I'm not.
Go and watch those videos and say my homework still to do was this, but I haven't done it.
No, I don't have any outstanding.
Okay, so now Dan Brubaker, right?
So I'm not quite
Dan Brubaker. Can any one of you? This is a challenge again. Summarize his methodology, strength, and weakness of the method that he's been used to do this research. Method, strengths, and weakness, because a conclusion is only valid if the method is valid.
Here's the thing with this, which makes this a lot more simple than it's trying to suggest that it has to be some complex approach.
Not complex.
Now, let me
this is how scholarly works.
No.
This is how scholarship works.
No, let me explain.
You explain the method, the weakness, and the strengths, and tell me how the conclusion follows from the method.
So let me explain this. If I get a hold of a copy from the museum, which you can do, of course, like in the one in London and the ones elsewhere around the world, and you look at the verses that are quoted, and you look at the way that the particular examples that has been given, the way it is written, and you make all those examinations, that is your case. That's your basis. Okay?
But Dan has not done that.
No. Let me finish.
Dan has not done that.
Yes, he has. He has.
Oh yeah. He's a hero. He's a prophet. He's a god.
He has. Because in his book, he provides those examples.
And all the manuscripts contemporary to that, yeah?
Let me say, so of those 22 examples, for which I have seen yesterday, I have had them all blown up on the PowerPoint, highlighted in front of me, so I can go to the museum, like you can go to the museum, and you could look at the claim he's making. So then you can make up your own mind whether he has a case, whether there has been insertions, corrections,
so you've seen it,
whatever.
Right? You've seen it.
So I've seen the examples that he put in front of me.
Good. So when he provided an example, did he then say, all the manuscripts contemporaneous to this manuscripts, here is the text, and it doesn't have it, or he has it?
No, he's not saying that. He's saying that in this particular manuscript, in all the
what's your name? Mark?
Yeah.
Mark, listen.
So
Mark.
One second.
No, 1 second to me. Mark, listen. Any person of integrity to make a claim of a corruption of a text, then they have to look at other manuscripts that are contemporaneous, or before or after. So because I haven't read it, look, out of these 22 or 23 examples, has he looked at each example and said, look, this is an example, and these are all the available manuscripts from that time period, before or after, within a few hundred years?
Can I answer that?
Before you answer, understand what I'm saying. Understand.
Well, I do understand.
No, I don't think you do. Understand.
Well, I do understand.
So, if we find, for example, a manuscript which is at the same time period, and it doesn't have this kind of omission, it's already there within the text. You don't need an insertion because the insertion is already part of the text. Then what will you make a conclusion? That the original text is what? The one with or one without?
So can I reply to this?
Yeah, reply. The original text is one with or without?
I want to reply in my own way, so let me explain.
No, the original text is one without or one with?
Because I'll tell you why. It could be either. And I'll tell you why. So here's the problem with this. When you look at, say, the oldest manuscripts we've got, and we look at the 10 oldest manuscripts.
Why 10?
Just as an illustrate.
Right? Yeah? Because that's the one he looked at it first.
My point, yeah. Because that's quite a good level of interrogation. So in those 10 manuscripts, what he has done is he's gone through each one and looked at what the Quran is in terms of the Hafs standardized, canonized version as per 1940 whatever, updated 1985 whatever, and with that particular version, which most manuscripts would agree to, he is then looking at each of those 10 oldest manuscripts and seeing in those 10 manuscripts differences in every single one. So what that's telling me, or it's telling us...
You're still not dealing with what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's...
Out of this 10, did he compare one with against the 9? For each example. I'm saying, to be a man of integrity, any integrity left, is this you have to do.
Yeah, but
each example, listen. Each example...
It's not the point.
My point, you need to understand. Your point is... Okay, I know what your point is.
Do you?
10 manuscripts... Okay, listen. 10 manuscripts, each one of them has some scribal mistakes.
No, much more significant than the way you're trying to...
Excuse me.
Trying to allude.
Let me hear...
Much more significant.
Let me tell you again. 10 manuscripts that I looked at...
Not scribal mistakes.
Listen, every manuscript has scribal mistakes.
There's more than just my scribal mistakes. That's my point.
Wait. When you say more than, you're making a theological claim.
Based on the evidence we've got.
What evidence?
No. What is it more than scribal mistakes?
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
So on some of the parchments, you've got different text.
So they rubbed it out and they wrote new stuff.
Yeah, but the text must have come from somebody else, a different writer.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Right?
Yeah. So
it's not like a scribe has gone in, he's starting to copy, and whatever. What's happened is...
So someone correcting his mistake.
I can't ever finish a sentence here. Have you noticed that?
Oh,
so please.
Now, hang on. Now you realize what happens when you cannot finish your sentence.
Yes,
and all of your members do that to me.
Well, you're doing it,
though. Hang on, I'm doing it to tell you how it feels.
No, but you always do it.
Now it hurts.
But I've watched your videos. You always do it.
Now it hurts.
You always do it.
Hang on.
But you always do it.
Waffle. Don't waffle.
No, I'm not waffling.
I give people chance to speak.
No.
So now you realize.
Sure, that is a typical style of yours.
Listen, Mark. By observing, what you were saying was, here's a piece of paper, or at that time it was a parchment, Now it had something rubbed. Someone else had written something on it. Okay, a different scribe,
Yes.
He's a scribe. Listen, hold on. He's a scribe and I'm a scribe.
Yeah.
He writes something. Now, at that time, as you know, parchments weren't everywhere, so we had to reuse them. Okay.
Yes, I appreciate that.
So now,
because they're expensive.
Exactly. Yeah. So now I take Brother Mansur's parchment, put it in water, get rid of the words as best I can, and I write on top of it. What's the problem? Me and him, we're in the same area. I'm guessing so. As I took
But
his
that's
parchment.
not even his example. His examples
Is that
are,
your example?
you have a text, look, I have it here, his whole PhD thesis, which he based on his research. And then he has more, which he's publishing, right? And he's going to publish more on his website. So what I am saying, which you are not getting it, how many times I'm going to say that? That when he does his research, if he finds an example of a certain mistake or difference from the Quran that we read today, did he look at every other manuscript and say, okay, this manuscript also has this or not has this?
But that's not what his claim is. That's
There's
not
no point.
his
Okay,
claim.
I'll leave it there.
That's my point.
But what's the problem? What kind of claim is it apart from that?
Let me
There's no
explain
point.
my point.
Don't you get it, Mark?
There's no point. There's no point. Because
Of course there is. Let me explain why I'm saying what I'm saying.
let him finish.
Please,
There's no point.
Give me the courtesy to explain what I'm trying to explain.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because what I'm trying to say, the claim is this, that the scholars, your scholars are basically saying that when we look at the manuscripts, there is not these variances. There are not these variances. So when the research
scholar
has
said
been
that?
done...
No. Sorry, Mark.
Yeah, we can give you names next time.
I want to clarify what
That's
you're
fine.
saying,
Yeah.
Because what you just said, as Brother Mansur was just about to ask you,
Yeah.
is that our scholars are saying that this piece of paper, here's a parchment, no, it's not written on top of other writing. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm saying there's no variances, no issues.
No, there is okay, it depends what you mean by variance.
There's-
Hold on, let me just
yeah,
finish.
but there are loads
I'll
of
finish
different
and then you
types.
continue,
Fair
Mark,
enough.
to be fair, yeah? What Brother Mansur is clearly saying, and our scholars are saying, is that no one is saying that, oh, this parchment is not damaged, or this part is not missing, it's not rubbed off. No one's saying that. Am I correct, Brother Mansur? No one has said that, right? No one has said that there's nothing been rubbed off, etc. Those mistakes, that might be a problem with that specific parchment. However, what Brother Mansur is trying to say is, we have other parchments that have that part that is not missing. What is the problem? And we have our oral tradition. Do you understand, Mark? My point is, you see Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, right? Yeah. If Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and you know the rest, right? Yeah. The fact of the matter is, if we know that orally and we have it written down on this parchment, but the ending says Twinkle Twinkle and it's missing.
Can I?
I'll finish it now and you can start. The fact of the matter is, we have other parchments that say Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. We have the end of it, so there's no problem.
Yeah, well, here's where there is a problem. Two issues where I've got a problem.
Yeah.
One is, there's clear cases in hadiths which prove in the hadiths that there was oral issues where orally certain verses did not get added. So that's a separate issue.
Exactly.
But I can bring that.
That's my whole
I
point.
can
First
bring
of all,
that
I don't
evidence.
agree with that. I don't think. But hold on, just to be fair, Mark, I'll let you finish. But the fact of the matter is, I don't agree with that.
I hadn't finished.
However,
I hadn't finished.
No, but let's stick to the parchment.
Let me just finish.
Like I said, it's not a problem, isn't it?
Because you mentioned about oral tradition.
Yes.
We can come back to show that there is evidence that there was a failure with oral tradition. That's my first point.
I'd like to see that, yes.
Yeah, that's a separate issue.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yes.
But with what I'm trying to say is,
Yes.
with the manuscripts that we got, the oldest manuscripts that we got, so let's say you look at the oldest 10 manuscripts, there are differences between what they read. They don't read identical.
Who says that?
Okay.
So
Which one doesn't read identical to what?
Exactly.
So I can provide that information.
Okay.
So
Identical.
I'm not walking so excited with that. I don't know my fans.
Slow down. Slow
You
down.
have one.
So I can provide that.
So you have one,
Fine, one.
brother.
Yeah,
so
no problem.
So you
No
have
problem.
you have one manuscript that is not identical to what we have today, right? What about the other manuscripts?
And to the old ones as well, there's variances between them. Yes, absolutely.
Now here, I'm going to make it very slow for you to understand, right? When you say they're not identical, so let's take an example. Say 66:8, right?
Yeah.
It is not identical to the manuscript that we have today, the copy is printed. What about other manuscripts from that time period?
Yes.
So,
Exactly.
who's looked at it?
Many people have looked at it, but certainly
Like who?
Well, we know Dan Brubaker has made a particular extensive study on it.
So Dan Brubaker looked at all the manuscripts for every example that is given in his PhD thesis and the examples that he's providing, right?
We don't know it to that degree, but what we do know is
Why
that...
are you off all that?
Let me explain this, because that's been unfair.
Hang on.
Let me explain what...
Who has looked at all the other
He has
manuscripts?
probably done the most extensive comparisons of those manuscripts than anybody else, and he's come up with over 4,000 variances. So to come up with 4,000 variances, he must have done some serious amount of work.
Listen,
to study
out of these
and make
variances-
those
Look,
comparisons.
if I look at a bunch of parchment, if I pick up all the old parchments from the museums, and I say, let's have a look at all these parchments, and let's see where it's damaged or missing. Do you know how many I will find? How many do you think I will find?
I don't know.
Thousands.
Yeah.
So, do you not understand, Mark? Hold on, let me just finish this sentence and you continue, Mark. Yeah, it's fair with you, but I understand it's fair. Mark, my point is, if someone tells me, go to, I don't know, a scrapyard and find pieces of cars,
I get what you're
how
saying.
many can you find?
I do get
I'm
what
going
you're
to find
saying.
thousands.
Don't get me wrong, I get what you're saying.
Thank you.
My point is not about those kind of differences. We're talking about differences that challenge the integrity of the Quran, and more importantly, I will do next time.
Next time.
Yeah, but I don't have it on me.
I
I looked at it yesterday, so I haven't memorised it, but I've looked at it, so I'll bring it with me I will bring it with me.
Bring
Okay,
it.
not a
No
problem.
worries.
Not a problem. But what I'm saying is, the difference we find is saying that there is a real challenge whether the Quran you have today is the Quran back in Muhammad's day.
Okay.
That's the challenge.
Now,
that's the significance of the variances.
To make a claim like this, I'm going to say it one more time, slowly. To say that the Quran is now different from the earlier Qurans, what you have to do is this. Find examples of differences that is not just in one particular manuscript, several manuscripts of a contemporary manuscript to that example manuscript, before, even after. That there has been a change, but then suddenly later it got changed. If you find one particular manuscript from nowhere or anywhere, right? One manuscript. Any scribal mistake doesn't mean this is the original intended reading.
You have to be fair with that.
To make an intended
Depends.
to make an intended reading, you have original meaning. You have to go and find what's the other manuscripts even before that. Are there any manuscripts before that? If not, what about the contemporary manuscripts? Do you know what I mean by contemporary? Same time period. There are many manuscripts of the same time period. So has your friend, Mr. Brubaker, done that? Without, I can tell you from his PhD thesis, he didn't do that. So from his book and his own line, has he done that? If he hasn't done that, he needs to do it, and then he'll realize.
What do you know he has done?
I'm asking you, if he has done, then he should be able to say, look.
What we're saying is this. What he's really making very clear is he's identifying and highlighting the differences between all those old manuscripts. Okay.
One moment.
Right?
One moment.
And
excuse me.
With those differences.
Has no one done that before him?
Not extensively.
Doesn't matter if it's extensive or not.
Yeah, but anyway, this is my point.
People have done it already.
Yeah, but
they've analysed the manuscript. even Dr. Altikulaj,
let
right?
me explain this.
When they edited the manuscript, excuse me, when they edited the manuscript.
You made your point, and I want to make my point now.
No.
You're now going into another point.
You need to listen to this.
No, but you've made
when Dr. Altikulaj, for example, right? Tayyar Altikulaj and his friend, Ihsanoglu, when the edition was done by the top copy, right? Did they talk about the scribal errors within it?
I don't know. You tell me. This is your point.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. To what level? To what degree? How good was that? How good was that effort done?
If you
how many variances did they find?
If you didn't realize,
how many variances they find?
My friend.
Huh? Oh yeah, I got it.
Okay, just to show you before you go, right?
Yeah.
A picture.
Sure.
Obviously, that shows really you're not interested in.
Not at all. Don't please put the.
No, you're not interested in. Look, this is an example page, right?
Yeah.
I know how you feel. Yeah.
Every letter is transcribed in Arabic words, and in a footnote, any differences given.
Right.
Page by page, folio by folio, like this one.
How many did you find? How many?
My friend, listen.
Just curious, because I've got.
No, listen, please. Look.
As you said, please, I'll listen.
طعاما. Yeah?
Yeah.
إلا من ضريع. Every letter, طاء عين ألف ميم, without any vowelization. Every single letter is transcribed for the whole of the folio. So during this transcription, did he not notice whether there was any differences? Of course there are. That's the whole.
How many did he come up with?
How many did he come up with? The whole point is your hero, Dan Brubaker, is not the first one to understand textual manuscripts that there are scribal mistakes in it.
I quite accept that.
Thank you.
Yeah,